All righty. Hey, everybody. It's Charlie with Contemplating the Cosmos and 4BZ Truth YouTube channel. I am honored. Well, first of all, let me just say that, we're kind of going down the rabbit hole. And that's kind of the concept of this show. And we're going to go wherever the evidence leads. And I wanted to bring on a special guest. And really, he needs no introduction. If you have been looking into alternative Earth theories, and you don't want to get the bots to start, shadow banning or whatever. But so I've kind of called this the true Earth theory because I heard Mr. Weiss here and Jaron talking about the true Earth theory, and I thought it's a kind of a nice segue into what we're talking about. So anyways, but David has been on shows, if you haven't been following him, has been on shows like Alex Jones, InfoWars. I saw him on the WWE champion Chris Jericho podcast. That was freaking awesome. And other huge platforms. So he's probably one of the most well-spoken, outspoken. All right, no more
outspoken for sure. Biggest mouth, we'll say. You can say he's got the biggest mouth.
True that. No. And so anyways, without further ado, I want to introduce David Weiss. I want to give you the floor to kind of give a little bit of your position and why you're doing what you're doing.
Charlie, you said alternative looks at the cosmos. At this point, the globe is the alternative look at the cosmos, and it astounds me that people still believe in the globe. And the funny thing is, the people that believe in the globe have no idea what the globe is. They don't know how fast it's spinning, how fast it's orbiting, how fast it's chasing the sun, how fast the galaxy is moving. They don't know the distances of stars. They don't know anything. They don't know. And by the way, I didn't know any of it either. When flat Earth was thrown at me, I wouldn't look at it. You're stupid. Don't waste my time. I'm not even going to check because it doesn't need to be checked. And that's because of a lifelong conditioning of programming that's happened to us since before we could talk. So once you're able to break down through that initial life programming and take a true look, you wonder how the heck you ever believed in the helio-nonsensical model.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll just tell you right now, and again, for the less, I don't know if you know a lot about my channel, but I definitely venture down the rabbit hole. But I've early on, I was looking into the flat Earth, and honestly, I was kind of a smaller channel at that time, and I just lost subs every time I talked about it. It didn't seem like it was very productive for my channel to talk about it. So, and I came out with the Flat Earth Philosophy series that I was basically just talking about, speaking from a bias of whatever filter you want to, bias through, or the lens of interpretation. I really got in pretty heavy into the philosophical aspects of interpretation and belief, and I basically wanted to kind of set a foundation or establish a premise for what it is we're actually talking about. Because oftentimes when I talk to people, they have this knee-jerk thought, okay, yeah, science has been established, blah, blah, blah. And you know all the arguments. But the reality is that we have to shed every single one of our filters of understanding and belief. I mean, without, just shedding our language and everything that we've really just built upon from being a baby up to now. But the reality is there's so many, I've kind of figured out that, and I have another thing that I always talk about is patterns of reality, and just looking at patterns and trying to understand where these patterns kind of take you, and really just exploring, the concept, stand in someone else's shoes so you can kind of understand their perspective or whatever. And that's kind of what I've tried to do with just about everything I've looked at. And this kind of started out like a religious type or Christian based, approach, but I've kind of ventured out, and really when I started contemplating the cosmos, it was really to interview people for their perspectives and kind of contrast and build bridges between the philosophies and try to see what stands up to scrutiny, you might say. So so that's kind of the premise I wanted to start from in exploring this concept of flat Earth or true Earth or whatever it is. I mean, maybe you can kind of explain a little bit to the listeners about the foundation that people that have the globe belief and why that won't hold up to scrutiny.
Well, you say, they say the science is settled. Well, there's zero science. Nobody can name any science. The only science they have is the word science, some math equations. I could do math equations to tell you how spherical my flat table is. And a guy in a bow tie said so, right?
Yeah.
But people say, we've seen it. Boats over the horizon, the Sticks and Shadows by Aristophanes, day and night, time zone, seasons. All of these things, we are brainwashed into believing science has been done. But there was zero science done, and none of those things are true. In fact, all of the things I just mentioned actually prove the Earth is flat. Okay. Mm-hmm. The globe has a massive advantage over the flat Earth because the globe, you could go, yeah, science is done. I believe it. And my teacher told it to me, and it was in my textbooks. Yeah. I'm done. I can go drink beer, take a nap, watch sports, do whatever I want. But if you want to know the true Earth, you have to take the time and the effort and the thought. And we're not taught to think. We're taught to memorize and regurgitate what's in the Rockefeller textbooks. And that's just enough information to keep us a slave. So, the question is, the thing that people do, they go, flat Earth is stupid because they went to the Flat Earth Society. You Google flat Earth, you end up at the Flat Earth Society. You Google images of flat Earth, you end up with images from the Flat Earth Society. And the Flat Earth Society is a controlled opposition site to make you think flat Earth is stupid. And then once you go there, spend any amount of time there, you will never look at flat Earth again because it's the dumbest thing in the world. And you've done your research. You've done nothing except been gatekept by a government run website. So, and then people say, well, what about all the other planets? Well, what proof do you have that there's other planets other than images, not photos, from NASA and from Disney? Okay. Yes, there's a light in the sky, but that's not a dusty, dirty orange ball or a gray moon reflecting light from a distant sun. All of that is pseudoscience and nonsense.
Well, as far as, some of the guys that are, astronomers that are not like mainstream, I guess you could say, they, have little images of Saturn or something. You have the rings or you could see the Jupiter with the little red dot in the middle or whatever. And I agree with you that there's nothing like a true representation when it's CGI depiction from. There you go. I've never really seen a high definition resolution of any of these planets. Really, Saturn is the anomaly to me. And
so here's the picture from what does it say, 1982? That's in every textbook. And they didn't know that we're all going to have Photoshop back then. Now you put it into Photoshop and here, you can see that it's just layers. It's cut and pasted amateurly. I could do it with my free, photo software and do a much better job. That'll be much harder to detect, but they didn't even know what they were doing back then. You take this image directly from NASA's website, you put it into Photoshop, you crank up the levels, you can see how they put it together. Therefore, they're faking images of planets. Therefore, you can never trust anything NASA does. And therefore, there's a million other things that we've caught them, whether they wanted us to catch them or they're that stupid. That could be debated, but we've caught them. So NASA is nothing but a Hollywood studio. That's all.
It's funny about what you're saying is it's almost like the same argument that they bring to the table as far as has it been peer reviewed? Has it been filtered through the proper channel? Whatever. And it's like, well, what do you consider a proper channel? I mean, who's the one that determines peers as being an acceptable? And then like some of the guys that I get in these discussions with are like, I won't even listen to it if it's on YouTube because obviously YouTube is just a platform where anything could happen. So it's
So
like,
people say, where did you get your information? On YouTube? YouTube is a library. It has fiction and nonfiction on it. It has everything. It's just, and it's having more and more fiction because they're getting rid of the nonfiction. They don't want you to see it. They're deleting channels left and right. The truth channels are disappearing faster than you can fathom. But
wait, wasn't the RGT report or something?
the SGT report was just taken down, and so was
the video you guys did. He said this video or this channel will probably be deleted, and I went to go look for it, and it wasn't there. So I'm like,
you can follow SGT Report on BitChute and also sgtreport.tv. If you want to see what's really going on in this world, that is a place to go. The sgt.tv, subscribe for a month. I think it's $3 or $5. You will. It's the best money you've ever spent.
Yeah. So anyway,
so you can't talk truth on YouTube. The channels that you see, the big channels that you see that have the join buttons, they're not telling truth. You don't get a join button if you're telling truth. So where are we going? The NASA fakes everything.
Yeah.
I forgot where we're going with that. I just lost.
I mean, that's kind of what where I was going with that. Building a foundation on the globe. The people that try to say, "Oh, I didn't need to investigate flat Earth because it's gone through peer review scrutiny."
Yeah. So like peer review. Let me interrupt real quick. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the high priest of scientism, says we don't need to talk to flat earthers. The science is complete. The science is done. Well, that's not science. Okay. Peer reviewed would be sitting down with a head-to-head with a flat earther live and answering questions. They cannot and will not do it because if they do, they'll get destroyed. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a actor. Bill Nye is a failed comedian. Okay. These guys are not what they say they are. They are just puppets to make you think you live on a ball. What's the guy's name? The YouTube. It's one of the biggest videos. It talks about the Earth can't be flat.
Like
Vsauce. If the Earth was flat, as you walk towards the edge of the disc, the gravity would be pulling you.
Yeah, that's because a false premise.
They're mixing the helio nonsensical model with the true cosmology of flat Earth. Just for the people that are new, if there's anyone here that's new to flat Earth, the flat Earth is the basement of the universe. Okay. For lack of a better word, it's the basement of the universe. And everything, and I mean everything that we see above us is within the Earth system, rotating above the flat Earth. Okay. There's all sorts of optics and, the planets used to be called wandering stars. And I believe that they were changed to be called planets very recently, maybe in the 1800s, or even early 1900s. To fool the world. We're told that we've known the Earth is flat for 500 years. The Greeks figured it out with the sticks and shadows. That is a made-up story. Aristophanes was a mathematician back then, but that story never came in any book until the Rockefeller books in the 1980s, where it was inserted. Okay, so
sorry, I heard this said before, and I actually just recently put a video out that was about satellites in space. I'm sorry to deter your point, but I actually feel like anytime somebody projects a thought, is it projected from bias, or is it projected from what do you call it? Basically, an assertion or assumption, I guess. And
everything in the heliocentric model is based on the assumption of a ball.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, even from the flat Earth perspective, I want people to stop operating from assumptions, because I see a lot of people trying to defend it on like on Facebook forums and stuff like that, just bashing each other left and right, and it becomes this thing where it's not a matter of exchanging information, it's just a matter of who's the worst troll or something.
There's teams of government employees out there to start fights, online fights, to discourage people, to drain your energy. Okay, to steer you down, a wrong pathway. There's flat Earth channels, globe channels out there. These guys are so disingenuous, but they will get their followers because it's easy to follow a glober if that's your world belief, which is everyone's belief to start with, because to realize that the Earth is not a globe and we are at the center of creation on a flat stationary plane, it changes everything. The repercussions go from, wow, my whole life's been a lie. I'm losing Star Wars and Star Trek. That's gone, and the government isn't here to take care of me. They're actually the enemy, and everything changes. Nobody likes having their rug ripped out from under them. I say nobody likes having their ball taken away, and this is the ball that was presented to us when we were infants.
So, by the way, Dave, I just want to say that most of my listeners are probably coming from like a new age, or which they totally embrace the cosmos in the sense of the heliocentric. And then I did a speak pipe once, and I was talking about near-death experiences and how there's a lot of things talking about, they see the globe as they're floating away into space or whatever. And to be honest with you, I've kind of changed my position a little bit on that. I don't really trust all near-death experiences. I just look for patterns. And now, and I really want to.
Let me address before you go further. Is if your worldview is that you live on a globe, if you're taken up to 50, 60 miles in the air, which is, I don't know how many people can even get up that high. You're going to see a globe when you look down, because you're going to see in a circle and your brain's going to tell you it's a globe. Okay. Yeah. So as you get farther away, you're going to see a globe because you see in a circle. All right. When you're out in the ocean where there's no other land around, you see in a circle and you can imagine the globe. But in fact, you're just seeing the horizon where the point of convergence, you can't see any farther, and you're seeing the same distance in all directions. So you're seeing a circle and your brain tells you it's a globe.
Yeah. No, I kind of drew that conclusion a little bit about the near-death experience. I didn't really want to get into this yet, but again, I'm trying to build bridges like into the paranormal and spiritual and things like that. Because in a lot of ways, a lot of the guys that are actually in the stream right now are Mandela effect guys, and they actually, Gypsy Road, and I saw you on that show once, but we talk a lot about like this concept of like things changing, or I don't really know. I'm not a subscriber of the Mandela effect per se, but I do almost consider this like a Matrix type situation where maybe there's like some frequency manifestation of consciousness or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But, that's kind of the group of people that I mostly talk to, because I made a documentary that was like 250,000 views, and it was basically just talking about proof of God through near-death experiences and things like that. And I attracted a lot of new agey type people, and they unsubscribed the second I talk about flat Earth. So it's like I know that.
That has changed. Since 2015, you mentioned flat Earth, you lose subs, you get attacked, you get called a moron. But now people are starting to look, because if flat Earth was a psyop, if flat Earth was nonsense, it would be gone a long time ago. Nothing can grow like flat Earth is growing. And the fact that, Google is admittedly attacking flat Earth, but they leave up, crazy monster stories and ghosts and all sorts of other stuff they leave up. Aliens, that's fine, but you can't talk about flat Earth. Okay. It's nonsense. And you said that your listeners, a lot of them are a new age, so all of the new age stuff, all of the astrology, everything works better on a flat Earth, right? Because how does Jupiter, 40 million miles away, a rock or a gas ball, affect my life? Well, what if Jupiter was just 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 miles away from me in my sky, and it wasn't a solid thing, and it was a sentient, energetic source of power? Okay. That could affect my electric body connected to this electric Earth. I don't believe that humans can live far away from the Earth.
Yeah. I want to touch on that real quick as far as gravity, because a lot of people have that knee-jerk feeling about gravity. It has to be a dense ball that's pulling toward the center or whatever. but I heard you explain it in a way that was like some sort of static frequency that basically has a downforce, or like pulls you like a little particle into the TV screen or whatever. And you would probably explain it better than me.
Yeah, well, gravity is, gravity's never been proven. Gravity's never been proven, mass attracting mass. Every experiment, just failed miserably. So the Earth has a measurable negative charge, and that charge attracts everything. It establishes a down, and it's a weak force, just like they say gravity is a weak force. Okay, gravity is a weak force, but it could hold hundreds of trillions of tons of water in cruise ships upside down in Australia. Okay, but I can jump in the air. So it establishes a down, and then buoyancy and density sort everything else out. A rock falls and goes through the water because it's more dense, and a helium balloon goes up. So it makes a lot of sense. You can do experiments to show this. You cannot do an experiment to show gravity. If you go by Everest, the theory of gravity should say that a plumb line should maybe tilt a little bit towards the mountain, but it doesn't. Down is down. Yeah. And when you fly in an airplane from Australia to Alaska, you're flying across a flat, non-rotating plane, and down is down. What happened. You know how the airplanes, they would have to nose down a mile every 2 minutes just to follow the curve.
Yeah. Let me talk about that real quick, because I've always had a little hesitation with that description, only because, and I like your breakdown on that picture there, but I kind of look at it like all that we're doing here is obviously the wind plays a role into what this is, kind of the way that the airplane's pointed, but it's hitting wind and just kind of going like this. But then when you're talking, the best description I saw, hold on, let me pull out what the heck? What do you call the thing that spins around and holds its
gyroscope?
Gyroscope, yeah. I have a couple gyroscopes sitting over here somewhere. I ended up buying some because I wanted to kind of see how they worked, but that they maintain rigidity in space. Correct. So I guess in that sense, if it is turning, and real quick, since we're talking about gyroscopes, do you remember when they were that documentary on Netflix where they were trying to
Beyond the Curve?
Yeah, yeah. So you probably have something about that too.
Yeah, I do. If you haven't heard it, I mean, Beyond the Curve was a hit piece that was taken out of context, and even for the experiment that Jaron was doing with the laser at the end, where he goes, interesting, they cut it there, but they didn't show what happened next because they lowered the light down again, and they could see it. That proves that there's no curvature, but everyone there, ballers and flat earthers, all walked away, said experiment didn't prove anything.
Yeah, okay? And I had people actually bring that up. They're like, I watched that documentary and it proved that the Earth is curved.
No, absolutely not. The laser melted on, the condenser on the laser melted, so they couldn't use a laser, so they were just using a light. And at first they couldn't see it, then they could see it. Okay, it proved that there was branches in the way. Doing these experiments is much more difficult than you would expect. But the other thing is, in that Bob from the Globebusters show, he had was talking about a ring laser gyro, and it measured like a 15-degree precession, which was interesting. They cut it there, but they never talked to the fact that when we took it up to 10,000 feet, it rotated at a different amount, which proves that it's not the Earth turning, that it's the ether that's moving. Okay.
See, I don't remember even hearing that. That's interesting.
Yeah, the movie was a deceptive hit piece. Netflix is not your friend. Netflix is programming your mind into thinking flat Earth is stupid. Remember what they came out with just in late last year, before this Rona thing started? They had a series called Pandemic, which was exactly what's happening now. That's pre-programming your mind.
Yes. So I know we're like jumping around, and it's hard to hold a thought in our head when we're just addressing. I mean, there's so much to cover. Obviously, we can't cover everything, but that really just, we're planting the seeds here, and I want everybody to, if this is the first time you've even considered this or looked into anything, or maybe you just subscribe to this channel and then you're like, let's see what this is about, and then before you unsubscribe, just kind of hear us out, and people would consider The Matrix or The 13th Floor. You remember that movie, The 13th Floor?
Yep.
Those concepts like more easily than the shape of the Earth. I mean, why is that so disheartening to hear the Earth is flat versus round? I mean,
because the programming, the mind control over what the Earth is ingrained in us. They put it into us as babies. You go to school and the teacher has a globe in the class and everything is globe, globe, globe. And the thing is, people say, well, when they ask their top 21 questions, which are what I listed before, and you have solid answers for all of them, and they've taken the time to realize that their claims of the globe are blown up, they throw their hands up and they go, well, what difference does it make? Why would they lie? Why the lie? Well, this is the most important lie that the elite have, because if you wake up to the true Earth cosmology, the fact that we don't live on a heliocentric system, everything changes. You take your power back. You stop feeding the beast your power.
Yeah. I can't help but agree with everything you're saying, but again, so let me just kind of establish another premise real quick, so people can understand exactly how the mindset actually works as far as accepting certain things and rejecting certain things or whatever. I kind of brought the concept of the stairs of ascension. So like each step is kind of like a predisposition of accepting something, right? So as you take a step, you can process and absorb whatever that is.
I call it the staircase of disbelief. You have to start out very easy. You can't start out with flat Earth. You start out with JFK.
Exactly.
And then you take a step up and you go, maybe the thing that happened in September on New York wasn't exactly what they told us. Then you can take another step and you go, that thing that happened in Connecticut, that is kind of looking a little weird. And then you work your way up to flat Earth. I have a video on my YouTube channel called on DITRH, which is the initials, or Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, and it's called The Staircase of Disbelief by Neil Kramer. Check it out, and you'll get it.
I think that's the first one I listened to. Seeing that image with the staircase, and unless it was something having to do with Mel or Hostel Rink now. I don't know if he changed his last name to
he switched to his middle name.
Gotcha. Yeah. So anyways, but I just like to branch out in all these different directions, because you got to contrast kind of everything. And I always like that concept of don't dump the baby out with the bathwater, because there's a lot, or eat the meat, spit out the bones. There's a lot of things out there that you have to sift through and use your own mind, use your own brain to unravel the mysteries. And so obviously, so for me, it wasn't JFK. It was more like 9/11, the terrorist attacks. They weren't really terrorists. It was more I think it was 2006 or 2007 that I heard people start talking about this conspiracy aspect of it. And I'm like, and I was so disconnected from it, because my dad would talk about the Illuminati and stuff. And I didn't want nothing to do with my dad, because he was kind of too eccentric. And, I didn't feel like he thought things through sometimes. It wasn't until I actually gave a lot of that stuff a chance that I started seeing what it was that he was seeing. And and now I'm like my dad, a crazy psycho conspiracy theorist. But
Charlie, with the way the world is right now, we're about to go into some insane times.
I know.
There's no time for being afraid of losing subs, losing friends. about what the truth is. And the reason we're in this insane situation is because people believe that they are a random speck spinning on another speck with trillions of other specks in an infinite vacuum in a godless or a distant God universe. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you believe that, you can be convinced that there's a little thing floating through the air that's going to, find you, or it's going to sit on a dollar bill for 28 days. And when you pick up the dollar bill, it's going to jump down your throat and kill you. Okay. This is pure insanity. And this is what the world has come to, because people don't have a foundation to stand on. They are, they are literally babies lost in space. Okay. And they have their space fantasies and all this stuff, and they just think everything's going to be okay. And this is how they've fooled the world, the entire world, into this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that movie Out of Shadows, it makes me think about Hollywood and how it's all corrupt. Hollywood, Disney, and it's almost like they were established, and NASA, they were all established so that they could deceive people.
Hollywood, they have the Hollywood, Hollywood is what you make a magic wand out of. They're casting spells on people. The horror movies, you sit there and your brain wants to run away, but you make it stay there and watch it. So what that does is it conditions you to not run and not do anything when you're presented with danger. We are in danger right now of being taken over by the Illuminati, for lack of a better words. About this cabal, and people are just sitting on their hands doing nothing, afraid to talk, putting shame muzzles on their mouths and going around and following orders because they think it's just going to go away. How long are you going to put that muzzle on and follow the rules and not speak out? People are afraid. People are wearing muzzles because other people are wearing muzzles. Most of them don't even think that it's doing anything. I mean, if a piece of paper or a bandana protected you from the flu, don't you think your grandmother would have told you that?
Yeah, they're the wise,
right?
Wisest of the wise back in the day. No, I mean, my mind is going all these different directions. I want to touch on just real quick. I want to tell you this story from last night. I have a 2-year-old and we have a newborn. From Sunday, we just had a baby, so it's wow. My wife actually is kind of unraveling. And
you have it at home?
No, we actually went to the hospital, which is kind of a pain in the ass.
Did she have to wear a mask during labor?
Yes, I did.
Did she?
No, they actually didn't care that she didn't have a mask because she was tested beforehand. And I think that's the only reason they let her get away with it, which is funny because I didn't wear a mask half the time when I was in my room and stuff. And people would come and go, and I just didn't put a mask on, even though there was a sign that said, must wear a mask when people.
I've passed 1 million of those signs, and I've never put a mask on, except I had to go into a hospital for an operation for my daughter, and I put a bandana on.
Yeah, so no, I mean, sometimes you just gotta, if you want to, get food or something. I mean, anyways, the thing that happened last night is that my wife wanted to stay home with the baby.
Wait, did you hear what you just said? Sometimes you got to put on a shame muzzle if you want to get food. Does that sound like America?
That's exactly what it
insanity.
Like.
That's insanity.
That's exactly what it is and what it sounds like. And that's why I'm starting to become more active. Now, granted, my wife just had a baby, and things are kind of a lot of dust hasn't settled yet. So I haven't really gotten back into this very quickly. But I ended up going to this thing with our church. Now, I've kind of disconnected from the church because they're totally hook, line, and sinker bought into the narrative. They shut their doors back in March and said, "Oh, we have to start doing live streams now so that we can protect everybody." And anyways, but every once in a while they have kind of little get-togethers outside. So, and I already said in my mind, I don't know if I want to be part of this anymore because I don't want to be part of this group that conforms to these lies. And anyways, so my wife, she's like, "Yeah, go with our son, let him do the trunk or treat thing." And so I get there, and I swear, literally everybody had a face mask on, and I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me? We are outside." Now I feel like a fish out of water because I don't want to wear a mask. And And then I had everybody coming up to me like 6 feet away, though, saying like, "Oh, we heard you had a baby, and how's your wife doing? How's your baby?" And then I went to actually give somebody a side hug, and then they're like, "Oh no, you can't come next to me because I work." And I'm like, "Are you freaking?"
It's psychosis. It's because people are lost. People don't know who they are. They don't know that they have an immune system. They don't know that, this entire Rona thing is never been seen, never been discovered, never been isolated. I mean,
I know.
the story, when it all comes down and however it ends, people are not going to be able to sue the people that did this, because the people that did this are going to say, "Oh, we told you." It says it right here on the CDC website that we never knew, we never saw the Rona, we never never isolated it, and we didn't tell you people died. We told you there's 7,000 new cases today. We didn't say what that meant. I mean, the 7,000 people didn't know that they had it until we told them they had it.
Did you see that last video that Spiro did? The one where he's talking about the guy that created the test for the RNA sequence.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but where is Spiro? Is he on the BitChute now?
Did they delete his channel? I have no idea.
I think
they might have. I mean, the last one that he did was, in fact, the video that he did, I reposted, I mirrored it, and they haven't taken it yet. I've had 9 videos deleted already for crap that I put up. I've actually been threatened by YouTube. Like,
what YouTube does now is they leave it up so only you can see it and no one else can see it. And when they click on it, it says it was deleted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I hardly ever get any, stats on it now. I don't see anybody, unless it says that people are browsing the channel or something like that. But anyways, what was I saying? I just noticed that my buddy showed up. Hey, everybody, this is Toto of Oz. Anyways, but I have a bunch of people. Welcome everybody in the chat. I know that I didn't really acknowledge you yet, but Gypsy Roads here, flat accord music, Nayak. Yeah, I don't know how to say your name. Anyways, but yeah, so I wanted to just so we don't stall out here. Now, as far as so we were talking about the Rona, right? Yeah, Spiro had a video that he put out, and where this the guy that actually created the test for swabbing your nose and pulling out the,
said it should never be used to diagnose any disease.
Exactly, and he was an outspoken advocate against trying to say that HIV is the cause for AIDS or whatever. There's no proof of it. And that was really the precursor to what's happening now. Fauci was all involved in that. And basically, for anybody that's like coming in here saying, what does this have to do with the true Earth theory? This has everything to do with the true Earth theory, because the reality is literally everywhere you turn, you're going to see deception. And this is all just part of the big picture. It's just another piece in another puzzle piece in the big picture. So, but anyways, this guy, he won the Nobel Prize for his test or whatever, and he died in 2019, right before they rolled out Event 201 or whatever. And I think that he was one of the most outspoken people that says that everybody will be positive depending on how they dial in the test.
Yep.
Because everybody has that RNA sequence. So
here's the thing. There's so many people that know this, and they're all keeping their mouth shut. So if you actually know this information and you're not doing everything that you can to pass the word around, to do something, you're part of the problem. Okay. We have very short time left before it'll be not reversible. I don't even know if we've crossed that line yet, but there's so many people that are just waiting for it to go away. It's not going away.
Yeah. And, I'm not like a fan of politics in any way whatsoever. In fact, I've disconnected from it because I feel like it's all part of the show. But, the fact that Trump actually, had this bill that he put out where the social media couldn't, you know, snuff people out, like modern day book burning kind of thing. And that kind of made me scratch my head. Is that part of the deception as well? Or, I mean, I don't know what your position. I don't care about politics. I really don't want to go down this road, but it just makes me feel like, people are so stuck in this discussion right now. I almost wonder if, Trump's trying to, and not even Trump, whoever's in control of Trump is putting little baits out there to attract people like us and say, oh, maybe he is on our side or something like that. You know what I mean?
It sure looks like he's just left hand, right hand, same monster.
Yeah.
So, there's so much, clues that, Trump's the last president. It's literally biblical at this point.
Yeah. The last Trump.
So who knows? I mean, there's too much to even discuss about the pre-programming of Trump. So I don't know. I don't know how the system works. I know that I'm not into the politics of it. I know that the biggest psyop, if you boil it all down, the psyop is that you're powerless. You're one person and you can't do anything about it. That's the opposite of the truth. One person can change the world. And they can't take anything away from you because of natural law. Okay, natural law says that you have to willingly give it away. Okay, and they're not allowed to do anything, but they can put you in fear, and then in fear you give up your rights, you give away, you submit to their supposed authority, and it's all nonsense. So
what authority are these elites appealing to when they give us little tidbits of information out there? You know what I'm saying? Like
universal law. Maybe it's God. I'm not even going to say.
Like God gives them certain leeways. Oh,
the way it is, we have free will, and they can't take it from us without willing. It's like you don't need to be afraid of demons or whatever you want to call that, unless you willingly let them in. You can keep them out. It all has to do with maintaining control of your soul. Okay. Yeah. We have a main soul and we have multiple souls in our body. And our mission here is to drive this body with our souls and not lose control. Many people lose control. They've sold their souls. So
I was listening to Gypsy Road, and they were somebody asked, like, at what point do you know that you've lost your soul, or can you know that you've lost your soul? And it's like, if you feel like you might have lost your soul, I think you already have.
So do me a favor. I'm gonna put a link in the chat to when people are hearing what souls are. So could you make me a moderator?
Yes. Oh, hold on.
Chat.
Yeah, go ahead and put it in.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on. I gotta find where is, I was just watching the stream and I don't know where I was watching it. I'm going to put give me 1 second, a link about it. It's a quick question and answer about what souls are, and people will really, I was forced to read it. I didn't want to read it. I was like, this is stupid. So, there I am in chat. If you can moderate me, everyone save this link after the show. Just take 10 minutes and read, just scroll down and read the whole thing about what a soul is. Okay.
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out why this is not. I'm clicking on the live chat and it's saying that there's only 2 people here when I know there's more than that.
It says it's 31 right now.
Here, let me.
I can't. Oh, I posted it. Did it show up?
Oh, you know what it is. Hold on. I was on the wrong.
Yeah.
I have 2 channels here. Hold
on. So let me know, guys, if you can see that the link I put for souls. So take it and read it, and I think it really will change your view of the world. Somehow it's letting me post it even though I'm not a mod. So there you go.
Oh, okay. Where'd you go? Sorry,
I'm here.
Sorry, it has not shown up for me yet. I'm your videos. I'm not very good at this. I apologize. Let's see.
It's all right. It actually didn't show up. So I'd have to be, you'd have to make me a mod, but we can link it in the show. I'll put it in the comment after the show's over. You could pin it if you want.
Here, let me see if. All right, I'm fine. Maybe I got to do it. Hold on. Let me just open a window real quick on my computer because I can't do it from my phone for some weird reason. Bear with me, guys. Hang on.
Any questions in chat while he's doing that? I'm looking at the chat. So, flat accord music I didn't post. So stand by. As soon as he makes me a mod.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, I just put it in the chat. I said hi. If you can mod me, I'll put this link. You could mute that.
Yep.
Tell me when you've done it.
All right, I have 17 thumbs up, guys. Freaking thumbs up. Thumbs up. Okay, who cares? Okay.
You know how to make a mod, right?
Yeah.
Click the buttons after the comment, the three dots.
Yep.
Hover over the comment, click the three dots, make moderator.
Add moderator. Okay, here we go. There it is.
Am I moderated?
I think so.
There you go. There you go. I'm going to put it in. All right, so where are we going now?
Okay, so anyways, so as far as the flat Earth or the true Earth or whatever, I feel like maybe I should throw a wrench a little bit in here just to kind of. I'm not gonna defend the position of the globe at all, because to be honest with you, I know that there's anomalies with what I've seen. I can see too far. I think that you guys were talking about Mount San Jacinto, with Jay Tolan Media. Believe it or not, I have history with that mountain. I used to live right at the base of the mountain in San Jacinto, California. So I know exactly what that location. A little more true for me, knowing that he could see from where he was like 123 miles, or I forget exactly how far he was, but he was way too far. So as far as the curvature calculation, and kind of your background there, you can see a flat horizon, and everything that you see as far as a horizon is always at eye level.
It's actually almost eye level, but it looks like it's at eye level.
Yeah. So the way I understand it is, if there's something like a curve, if you're coming up, the drop off would actually be a lot faster as you're ascending. And I don't think that people realize that how much that drop off should because like Jay
miles, it should be 6 feet according to heliocentric math.
How much? Sorry, say that again.
6 feet at 3 miles.
Yeah. So
a 6-foot tall man standing at the edge of calm water shouldn't be able to see the surface of the water past 3 miles.
Yeah.
We can see it for many miles past.
So that's the thing that has been bugging me, is kind of the image that you have in your background there. The balloons that go up 125,000 feet, and you can literally see a flat horizon, and
the Earth isn't spinning away at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah. So exactly, and people say that, oh, if you're in the atmosphere, you're basically like in a car with the windows rolled up. So it's like you don't.
How about where are the windows? Where's the roof of the car?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that if you're that high,
people say, I'm on an airplane. How can I drink water or walk to the bathroom? And I say, well, double the speed of the airplane, take the outer shell off the airplane, and tell me how that water is, or your trip to the bathroom goes.
Yeah. And if you were like in a car and you like launch yourself out like up in the air while you're driving 100 miles an hour, you're not going to stay in the car. You're going to freaking.
Well, that's not a real good argument, because they'll say that the car is going faster than the spin of the Earth. The Earth is holding on to the wind, and it's going to push you back. It's a ridiculous argument, but it doesn't support either model. The winds in certain areas of the Earth at 40,000 feet are outrunning the spin of the Earth by 200 to 300 miles an hour. Okay? So the Earth is curving over, and the wind is outrunning it. Okay, at 40,000 feet, that's impossible. Impossible.
Yeah, like the Red Bull jump guy, Felix Baumgartner.
Felix
Yeah,
Baumgartner.
didn't he go east when he came back? Like he was
Whatever. He didn't travel that far. He landed in New Mexico. He took off from New Mexico. So,
but the globe, quote unquote, didn't rotate under him, obviously.
right.
So yeah. So that's kind of what I want. So again, my background, and I want to get into this a little bit because I remember when I was telling people like there was balloon satellites, back 5 years ago. And everybody that I told that to were like, they just dismissed it like, oh, you're a stupid idiot. And
that's not even a theory. I mean, look up NASA. You can see videos of them launching, 8,000-pound satellites with balloons in Antarctica.
Yeah, well, funny thing is I work for a manufacturing company which has sensitive information, so I can't give you a lot of information because not only could I get fired, but I could be imprisoned if I give up too much information. But all I can tell you right now is that we do aerospace and military type stuff, and we develop control boards. Really, is what it is, and we do contract work for big companies that you're very familiar with, and we actually build balloon satellites. And we build the brains of like space shuttles. So
here, let me just comment on that. The brains of space shuttles. I don't know what that means, but the fact that you built it doesn't mean that it goes into space.
Exactly.
And the fact that there's balloon satellites doesn't mean that there's not real satellites. The question you have to ask yourself is, why doesn't NASA publicize their balloon satellites? Why is it hidden? Why do they buy all the helium companies in the world? Why are they controlling the mass majority of the helium in the world? Why, these things there's tens of thousands of them up there, and they don't tell us about them because they don't want us to know that, there are no such thing as satellites falling around a ball. I mean, to believe that a satellite's orbiting, the Earth is turning, and the satellite at its whatever altitude is going just fast enough to stay over the same part of the Earth, and it's falling, but it's falling at the same rate as the Earth is curving away. This is just a mind experiment. Okay. While that's happening, the Earth is going sideways at 66,000 miles an hour and forward at 500,000 miles an hour. But that satellite can stay in perfect space as it curves around its yearly journey. It's nonsense. It's hogwash. And this is Felix Baumgarten's. Everyone the ballers use this as their proof.
That's proof, right?
We can see land, rivers and stuff. That's all in New Mexico. So New Mexico covers a good portion of the Earth, a fifth of the Earth. Bullshit. It's nonsense.
Yeah. So, Dave, real quick, Lady Weavers asked if you posted the link yet. I didn't actually see it. No,
I did. I'll post it again. I posted it like 5 times. Did it show up?
Hold on. Maybe I got to go up here. I see the one where you said hi.
I just posted it a whole bunch of times, and it did show up.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
On here. Okay.
So save that, and guys, just read it, and you'll start to understand. Like, hey, we're almost like in an avatar situation where our souls are in this human vessel, and it's a relationship that's very interesting.
No, that's it's interesting to bring up this point because this is exactly how I describe it. Because I believe that we have transcendent consciousness, and our bodies are really just a vessel, like you were saying, like an avatar.
Read this. You're going to love this information on souls. It makes so much sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody, if you haven't gone here, you can click the link and, put a tab on your little Google Chrome or whatever. I don't know.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I really like that topic, and I feel like it really ties in to what we're talking about because now I want to, in terms of my research, I feel like, so what am I bringing to the table? I don't just talk about flat Earth. I talk about, consciousness. I talk about, the deep parts of reality that, we have to unravel the mysteries to unpack. So now I feel, gosh, so near-death experience has kind of become a focus of mine. One of the interviews that I did with Brian Melvin, I don't know if you ever looked into any of these near-death experiences, but he actually the most predominant ones are the ones that talk about heaven or interactions with Jesus or whatever. And you know, I don't necessarily, and sometimes it's people's interpretation from their life experience. So you know, maybe someone from India would say, "Oh, I saw Krishna or whatever when I went up into heaven or whatever." And so, yeah, I feel like, you know, this light source or energy source could be, you know, the creator. It could be, you know, the gatekeeper, so to speak. And I've heard people say that it maybe manifests as something positive, or knows how to tap into our emotions, and somehow reaches us from a form of deception, like the angel of light, quote unquote. And so if you're familiar with the angel of light, it's also known as Lucifer. Now, I don't necessarily dismiss anything that anybody says. I want to hear everyone's perspective, because I feel like, again, it's patterns of reality. I feel like you can take bits and pieces from every experience and build an image. Now, I've come to realize that I think Satan does manifest in near-death experiences in deception, and Brian Melvin is a great description of that, because he says that there's these reptilian creatures that ushered him into hell, and there was like these little cells that were a lot like, you know, these pods that were in the Matrix. You know what I'm saying?
These are, you know, we're being run by Satanists. I mean, it is completely obvious. I mean, just look at the Vatican. I mean, the Vatican, you ever see the shot of the Vatican? It's a snake. It's a giant snake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. From the inside and from the outside. It's a serpent. Look at NASA. This is their logo, you know, it's a serpent tongue. They put it in our faces.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the soul lure system. The object is to steal your soul. We're in a game, okay, and the game is to maintain control of your soul. And they're trying to lure it away. They're trying to steal it from you. They're to get you to willingly give it up. Okay, that's the name of the game. And if you don't willingly give it up, you can win the game. But people will sell their souls. You know, with what's happening, you know, we're allowing ourselves to get into this situation, and then when it gets really rough, people are gonna, you know, hold their arm out for that shot, and you know, it's not going to be a pretty sight. So again, you know, this world is not as described. Okay, you know, there are unseen realms around us. You know, we are we're having an experience for our soul. Okay.
You know, you say experience, but I almost say experiment, because you know, we could be like a petri dish of some kind, right, that in a much more vast reality that right. We don't even know how to comprehend.
Well, it is. I mean, to me, you know, I think that the stars and the wandering stars, also known as planets, are conscious. You know, I believe that clouds are non-physical, for lack of a better word, angelic in nature. Okay. You know, to believe that this world, this amazing living world, gets water where it needs just by random weather patterns and stuff is ridiculous. You know, we used to hear that the Native Americans and you know, they did rain dances and stuff. Well, that stuff was probably real. You know, we just lost that ability to communicate with these angelic forces, because they've separated us from the creator by making us believe that we're lost in space. You know, if everyone woke up tomorrow to the flat earth, everyone would know there's a creator, and the cabal, the governments would be done. Their supposed authority would be gone. You know, I say we are the many, they are the few. They are so few that saying they are the few is over exaggerating. It's an exaggeration. They are nothing. They are nothing next to us.
Yeah.
But people are lost in movies and television, and they're hypnotized and they're scared. And that's how they control us. And they divide us. Red, blue, sports teams, countries, races, sexes. They're dividing the sexes up into 50 other sexes now. I mean, they're dividing us every way they can.
We're kind of entering into the crux of why I do what I do. I mean, I feel like, yeah, we can talk about all these things that are happening and why these, shadow people or shadow governments or reptilians or whatever is in charge of all this. What can we do? You say that we are the many and they're the few, and that is a under exaggerate or huge exaggeration or under whatever. The point is that we could snuff them out in a day. Do we have to tear down?
All we have to do is stop consenting. If everybody took off their mask and opened up their businesses, what could they do? Even if the police kept their masks on and gave everyone tickets, nobody paid the ticket. Toss it in the garbage. Wipe your butt with it. Throw it in the garbage. They've got nothing. They can't do anything. What's funny is the police department in my town. I live in a small town, not that small, but it's 40,000 people, I think, or something like that. Maybe it's even more. We have a no mask gathering in the park on Sundays, and the first day we did it, some Karens called the police on us, like, "Oh my God," and that we're selfish, whatever. And the police came, sergeant and another one, and they had donuts and coffee with us. They're like, "You know what? We totally agree with you guys. We don't wear masks. We know this is garbage."
Yeah.
He goes, "We will never penalize anybody for not wearing a mask, no matter where you are." He goes, and so they hung out with us. We talked shop, and that was it. And they just wanted to let us know that they were on our side. So thinking that that it's hopeless is the most ridiculous thing ever. It is so hopeful. The thing that is looking hopeless is how brainwashed people are, how people just are going along to get along. Okay?
This is the apocalypse that was pre-programmed into Hollywood and things like that. I feel like the zombies are the people that are I mean, that's probably how they look at us, is that we're the sheep.
No, you know what? They look at us as useless eaters. They look at us as stupid animals. And guess what? I see their point. Okay? I get it. Right now, I'm pro-vaccine. Let all of those mask wearers get their vaccine, and then we won't have to deal with them anymore. Okay? Because, who knows what this great reset is? Maybe it's something that they can't stop. Maybe it's man-made. Maybe it's God. Maybe it's a cycle that the earth has to do, and there's a massive depopulation event coming. We don't know, but all of the people that are going along to get along are the problem. They are the disease. Okay, that's what's going on. And there's studies. I even think Fauci once said that there was a time where people were wearing masks and people got these horrible lung infections from wearing masks. So going into fall and into the winter season here in the inner north, people are in the lowest health ever. They're under stress, financial stress. They're afraid of dying. They haven't had any human touch. They've been rebreathing their toxins. People are going to get sick. Okay, maybe the new cell towers are going to have something to do with it. Maybe not. Maybe it's not even needed. People are going to get sick. And these zombies are going to blame people like you and I for not wearing masks. Okay. I should be dead. I haven't worn a mask. All waiters and waitresses should be dead by now because they've been serving people that are eating and spitting at their tables without masks on. Okay. That's probably according to, how this populates, there should be a massive die off of waiters and waitresses. A massive. Okay. It's not
the most exposure.
It's complete and total bullshit.
Yeah, dude. You remember Jake the asshole?
I remember Jake.
Well, he had this thing where he was like going out and just having people cough in his face. He's like, I want to show that.
It was funny. I see the humor in it, but he I don't know how well it came across.
He was removed from YouTube, but
Jake thinks that the circling sun has been disproven, and his reason for it is completely nonsensical. So I stopped paying attention to him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily, I can see where you're going with, the cosmology aspect of it. For me, it doesn't matter as much because I think of the higher implications of believing everything that we hear from the mainstream. So
if you believe what the mainstream's telling you, you are dissing God, for lack of better words. You are disconnecting and ignoring God's creation. Okay. And that's not good. And then you're in fear, you're disconnecting yourself even further. And then you give away what God gave you, your rights, and you're done. You're toast. You're finished.
yeah, fear has no place. Perfect love casts out all fear.
Right. And
I mean,
think about this. They're destroying love. How many relationships, male female relationships, started with a smile? Okay, where the one of the two saw each other across a room, across a table, ordering coffee, on a bus, driving down the road, walking down the street, wherever, and the person smiled, and the other person's like, "Hey," and they started a conversation. How many relationships started that way? And here's my answer: every single one, without exception. Okay, they've stolen that from us. Okay,
yeah,
you're walking down the road, you can't tell if that girl is smiling at you. Okay, you can't
yeah.
tell anything, and so they are destroying.
They're
love.
they're making relationships superficial. I mean, obviously that the icebreaker would have to be, interacting with a mask. But I did you see the article where the CDC Canada was trying to tell people how to have safe sex? So basically, number one, they were saying wear masks to avoid
Doggy style or whatever.
Yeah, no, you don't. You
At
got
this point, they're mocking us. Okay?
No, they actually use the terminology, use a glory hole. Like freaking go behind a board and freaking, are you kidding me?
Dude, they're mocking us at this point.
Yeah. Unbelievable. No,
Maybe this entire thing is an intelligence test, and the people that fail aren't going to make it through to the other side. I don't know.
yeah, I think that is the crux. Now, as far as the we should all come together, but the problem is you and I, and the people in the chat are the minority, in the sense that we are willing to look outside the box and
a little bit light to lighten up a dark room filled with idiots. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little discouraging for me because I work for a very large company and they're very liberal in their approach. Everybody's mandated to wear face masks. We have 9 hours of the only time we could take off our mask is if we're sitting at our table that has 6 feet apart. Everybody's looking at their phone, looking forward. They don't interact with each other. If you go into
robots,
if you go into the freaking bathroom, there's a sign that says you cannot brush your teeth or spit in the sink. Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, they'll go as far as to say you'll contract, or you could potentially contract.
You can go to the liquor store, but you can't go to your wife's doctor's appointment.
I know. I freaking had to deal with that throughout my wife's pregnancy. I couldn't go to her NSTs or whatever, and the only reason I was able to go to the birth is because they let we couldn't have our doula or whatever. So we had a doula last time we had a kid, and we like the natural approach to giving birth, and doulas are all about natural approach. And she couldn't come to our birth this time. So anyway,
well, Jaren had a birth at home. It actually ended up having to go to the hospital, but there's a lot more of that going on, which is the way it should be.
Matt Long, I actually talked to him a long time ago before he was ever on, and we were going to have a meetup in Texas, and because I flew out to Dallas, and we were just like on Facebook messaging each other, and we're like, yeah, let's do a meetup. So he had a baby at home too, didn't he?
He did, like 7 of them already, I think.
At least.
That's why we haven't done any podcasts. He won't get off his wife. Hey, so listen, let's kind of sort of wrap this thing around, and people say, what difference does it make? You know, I still have to go to work. Well, my whole life's changed. I left my job. I started my own company, which I never thought I could do, but I did it by putting the thought in front of the horse. Okay. And I had this company, it was very successful. And then I realized this is more important. I need to get out. And I walked away from my company, and I'm doing this. And the way I'm able to do this is I have my app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, which is literally the only way to easily learn about Flat Earth. Because if you search Flat Earth, you end up at the Flat Earth Society. You end up with all of these, you know, globe troll, horrible videos. And anyone in here, I'm going to share the screen. Anyone that doesn't have it, or anyone that doesn't think that the Earth is flat, I say take the challenge. Get the app, and then every day down here in the featured video is a new video. You click it, up comes that video. I'll click it, and up comes the video and a whole list of other videos that YouTube doesn't feed you. I feed you them. Okay, these are all related videos. Okay, and then also, you know, the archive button next to it right here will take you to all of the videos from, you know, the last 2 years. It's a plethora of information. If you go over to the question mark, all of your questions are answered with the top 21 question. Like, where's the edge? You know, what about pictures of Earth? Or, you know, why the lie? If I sent you one video on why the lie, YouTube would feed you garbage afterwards. But if you click why the lie, you get all of these videos to follow it.
Yeah.
And it does a ton. You know, it shows you how the sun travels in between the tropics. You know, in June, it's over the Tropic of Cancer. In January or December, it's over the Tropic of Capricorn. So it makes its journey in and out. It laps the sun every 28 days. The stars lap the sun once a year. That's why the sun is in each sign for about a month.
Yeah.
And then you can also turn off the hands for a cleaner view, so you really see the sky clock in action. The sun, wherever the sun is, it's noon.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually showed people the app at work, and you know, they didn't even have an idea of what the flat Earth map looked like.
Right.
Well, haven't you seen the United Nations logo or the World Health Organization logo? I mean, they were actually very surprised that I told them that those logos, you know, or the flat Earth was on their logos.
You know, east and west are circles around the center north, and south is every direction away. And this is how compasses work. This is how you circumnavigate. You go 270 degrees and you're back to where you started, or you go 90 degrees without ever turning, and you are turning. You don't realize it though. But if you go south, you never come back. You just keep on going until they shoot you down.
Is that where you'll find the Iron Republic?
Yeah, the Iron Republic could be in the lands out here. We don't know, because we're not allowed to go past this shoreline. You know, you can go to Antarctica for $10,000-$20,000 for a couple days, and they'll show you some penguins and a pole, and they'll tell you it's the South Pole, but it's really just a pole. And you know, hey, a lot of people that have the app, you don't know, but this button right here is the world time. So wherever, you know, right now it's 6 a.m. in Eastern Australia, and it's 10 p.m. in Johannesburg. So this new feature right here shows you what time it is in other parts of the world. So if you want to call your friend in Australia, I'd wait a couple hours, or they're going to get pissed off.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's all sorts of stuff on it. And the other thing is, if you click the weather up here, it brings you to dark sky. And I think to have dark sky on your phone is like $3 a month. Well, it comes with the app. So the $2.99 you pay for the app, one-time fee, you get dark sky with it, which is the best local weather app going. So it's called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's available on what's available? It's on Apple iOS and the Android store. And that's kind of the whole story right there.
So this is the business that you were talking about.
This is the business. You buy me a half a beer one time, and that's it. But if enough people do it, I'm able to pay my bills. Now there is a subscription in the app. You don't have to subscribe. You get a pop-up. You can exit out immediately, and it will only show up once every 24 hours. It's if you want to support me further because you love the app, you can pay 99 cents a month or $11 for the year. And that's great. But if you don't, you can exit out and you still get everything.
I subscribed the monthly one, and
Yep.
it popped up with it asked me again after the fact. I'm like, I wonder if there's just a bug or
sometimes one of two things happened where you didn't actually sign up. Just make sure they charge you. If they did, if you have proof that they charge you, we can fix that quickly. But most of the time is the charge didn't go through, whether there's a credit card issue or whatever. So just shoot me an email. Anyone that's having any problem, info@theflatearthpodcast.com. We address any problems if there are any bugs, and we fix them quickly.
Yeah, I'm inspired by you branching out and just kind of doing your thing, because right here is my side business. I have the ability to break away and do that like full-fledged, and it wouldn't even feel like a hiccup. I'd probably be too busy to keep up with the work.
What's funny is I this business is keeping me busier than my other business was. I mean, I'm busier, and I've walked away from a lot of money. So it's not about the money. It's about, this world, money's not going to matter if we don't stop what's coming. So, people, and why do I push the flat earth? Because if you wake up to the flat earth, you take your power back, and they need our power to do what they're trying to do. They can't just they couldn't go invade all those other countries after September 11th. They needed us to pound the war drums, and we all did, including me. We pounded the war drums, which gave them permission. And then George Bush, how many people did he kill in Iraq? Do you know?
1 million.
0. George Bush killed 0 people. He convinced order followers to kill other order followers. Okay. They convince us to kill each other. They convince us to take poisons. What do they do to our food? They spray poison on it. Okay. They inject poison into us. They spray poison above us. Right. And then if you get sick, they give you poison in pills that cause other issues. I mean, they're doing all of this with our permission.
Yeah. I'm just, there's other people in the chat that have the app, and they're just talking about it here. And no, that's awesome. Support Dave with, if you don't have the app, just freaking go on there and do a search for.
Listen, if someone for Android only, I can do this, because honestly, if you have an iPhone, you can afford the $3. Sometimes there's people with less money, or they're on their parents' account. They have an Android. If you really, really can't afford the $2.99, shoot me an email, and I'll give you a download code. Okay. So there you go. But you have to tell me your sad story in a couple sentences.
Well, it's too late. So I already paid for it.
It's all right. It's a half a beer in a bar. Come on.
That's right. I appreciate what you're doing, though, because, out of all the researchers and people that, speak their mind on the topic, I feel like I've appreciated your willingness to go on even the smaller, streams out there and radio shows or whatever. I mean, the people will just bash you. I mean, you've had a couple of interviews that I watched where they were just getting irate and kind of treating you like you're a dumbass or whatever.
That's okay, because the truth wins in the end. And the people that laugh at flat earth, I love the shows where they think flat earth is stupid, and they're like, you don't mind if we embarrass you? I'm like, let's do the show today, because I don't want them researching flat earth before I get on there, because if they do it properly, they'll back down on their stance. I love it when they bring up all the flat earth 101 objections. They're all in there in the 21 questions, though. So
yeah, well, I mean, we could drag this out. I actually have maybe, hold on, let me just check and make sure we've addressed all my talking points. Now, one of the things that we didn't touch on yet was the relative that I have that said they went to McMurdo base in Antarctica. Now, I know that I outright asked, is there 24-hour sun? And I think in some ways it was kind of a weird question to them.
Let me answer that for you. Let me tell you what they're seeing and what they're thinking. People don't realize sunlight and daylight are two different things. And the way you can realize that is the sun just appears on the horizon on one side of your house. You can go on the other side of your house and read the newspaper. It's bright enough because the daylight is the sky being fluorescent. The nitrogen in the sky fluorescent blue. Okay. And it's giving you this light. It's like a photographer with the flash, which is the sun, and then it's got the other lights, that are the daylight. Okay. Because if there was just the sun, everything would be like the Blair Witch Project. Okay. So in Antarctica, when the sun in December 21st, when the sun is, as far out as it goes, if the earth is flat, there wouldn't be a 24-hour sun. If the earth was a globe, there would be a 24-hour sun, just like there is in our north, in Norway and Alaska, 6 months later. But what happens is the way, and this is me, I think that there's a dome, and there's a lot of evidence of a dome. And we've done experiments where we have a dome, and when you bring a light towards the edge of that dome, the light wraps around the dome. And we've done experiments where we show the exact patterns that time and day show for day and night. And so on December 21st, the sun wraps pretty far around. So that's giving you your 17 hours of day, but it also wraps light in those very southern latitudes around the outside of the dome, which would light up Antarctica. So it would still be light. You won't see the sun, but it's still daylight. And then again, in Antarctica, there's so many clouds, and you're not going to get a blue sky day, or I haven't seen one yet. And the other thing is, why would they have faked there's 4 videos of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, which are clearly and obviously fake. I mean, they're not even questions. It's not they say, oh, they're fake. No, it's look at the videos. They're clearly fake.
Are definitely Photoshop or video shopping it.
Yeah, they're video shopping, they're faking, they're cutting, they're doing all sorts of stuff. The clouds are the same. It's just nonsense. So again, like NASA, why would you fake astronauts floating on the ISS?
And with the logic of a lot of these guys that try to appeal to those authorities, quote unquote, why don't they throw those authorities out when they find that there's one video that's faked? I mean, it seems to me
because there's people that are just like, flat Earth is stupid, and there's nothing you can say that's going to change my mind. And well, guess what? There's nothing you can say that change their mind. They can't hear, they can't see when you show them evidence. I mean, I can show these COVIDiots evidence that the virus is not what they say it is, and that a mask does nothing, but they'll keep their mask on the entire time. I took a flight back from the Flat Earth conference, and they had 2 young guys in their mid-20s with their blue masks on the entire time. I didn't have a mask on. I'm this close to them talking, and they're asking me questions about Flat Earth, and we got into the Rona, and no matter what I would say to them, they would not pull down their masks. They're like, oh yeah, well, that's interesting, but and they just don't want to hear it. They need, they're stuck in this hypnosis.
Yeah, it's the philosophy of interpretation and belief. And I just want people to acknowledge that how much belief that they're projecting from everything that they're doing. And no matter what the authority is, it needs to be tested. And I don't know exactly where we want to go from here, but the bottom line is, it is a great, segue to really open yourself up to the implications of why they would, hide the Earth the way it is, and then
hiding God and destroying love. They don't want that because that's how they lose their power. Period. For me to say that is insane because 6-7 years ago I didn't believe in any of that nonsense. But it's not nonsense. It's absolute. There's no way to deny it. Yeah.
So if we ever start doing little, conferences and stuff again, I mean, they did the Flattoberfest, which is on the East Coast. I'm over in Idaho. So I live in Boise, Idaho. And the closest location that I think would work is Seattle because Mark Sargent's over there, I think.
You have automatic weapons?
Do I?
That. Yeah.
I I have a gun just right behind me, but it's just a deer rifle.
Right.
No, but, yeah, I'm a typical Idahoan, freaking white supremacist and everything. I'm joking.
Nice. You can say hello to Owen for me. He just moved to Idaho.
Oh, did he? Man,
Yeah.
I would love to get together with him. I don't know. He's probably northern Idaho, I would imagine, but
I barely know where Idaho is, to be honest.
it's like Ohio, Iowa.
I live in my own bubble. I really do. I'm in a
Dude,
dome, my own dome.
I lived in California, and I said I'm moving to Idaho, and they're like, "Where is that? In the East Coast?" And it's like they're like one state away from here.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I appreciate you stopping in and exploring, contemplating the cosmos with me, and I hope that we could, maybe you can set up a flat Earth conference in Boise, Idaho, that people will listen to you, or maybe I should. I don't know.
We're trying to set one up, if the world ever goes back, which it doesn't look like it's going to for a while, if ever, in Vegas, because that's easy.
Oh, that would be a good place for me. I'm only like 9 hours
to get to. Everyone can get there, So people, if you believe in if you're learning about the flat Earth, if you hate the flat Earth, if you know the flat Earth, the app gives you one video every day, so it just will keep it in your mind. It'll be like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's new. That's new. Sometimes there's older stuff on there, but it's worth watching again. But I do short videos during the week, longer ones on the weekend. So every day when you get up or you're having your breakfast, watch the video, and that'll put the power back in you. Okay. Because if you forget about flat Earth, you go right back into the matrix. It's really hard to forget about flat Earth, by the way. But if you keep it in the forefront of your mind, you're going to start doing more intelligent things. You're going to be able to speak better if it ever comes up in conversation, and it will. I mean, Obama mentioned it 6 times or more in his speeches, and it's getting mentioned everywhere. So when people say, when people say something about the Earth or make a joke about flat Earth, you'll have something at the tip of your tongue just to throw at them to make them think. And just by waking up that one person, you're going to change the world.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you coming out with the app, because I think I could use that as a tool for sure. I've actually been able to kind of have a prop, so to speak, so that people can kind of wrap their head around it a little bit more.
One more thing is people that are afraid to say something. If you go in the app and you click the settings button, you scroll down, and I have a t-shirt shop, and you can get all of these cool shirts, which will subtly, will hit people. The map one there. I love this one. It's just the map. It doesn't really say anything, and it'll start a conversation. I also have, unmasked, unmuzzled, unvaccinated, unafraid, for those people that really want to get into a fight. The shirt I'm wearing right now, 2020, would not recommend. To be honest, I'm loving 2020, except for the stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
So good stuff in there. And that's another way to support me. And I have my prices in there as low as they allow, with the least amount of profit. I make a couple dollars on each shirt. But feel free to go in there and do that. And you could also gift the app. So you hit the gift the app to a friend, or you could just text them the link and make them buy it themselves. So that's another way to, not only does it support me, but more importantly, it wakes people up. If you're a flat earther, what's better than making a family or personal friend into a flat earther?
Then you'll have someone to talk to.
Then you have someone to talk to. Right?
No, can I tell you real quick? My wife, the fact that I'm even talking about this, I'm surprised that she stayed with me all these years. But she is not on board yet. I feel like, and that probably plays into the role as to why I'm like, should I really venture down this road and create?
Let me help you out there. As I said earlier, the ball has the advantage over the flat Earth because it's easy. You just believe in the ball. To understand the flat Earth, it takes time or effort. But when you have a couple where one of them sees the flat Earth and the other one does not, the one that does not has zero hope of getting that person to go back to the ball. You have great hope. If your wife loves you and has a brain that works, over time, you can show her and she will come over. right? But there's no chance that once you see flat Earth, you can't unsee flat Earth. If you took this, you take the red pill, there's no going back into the matrix. You're done.
Well,
so there's great hope for your wife, but she has a new baby. You got your hands full. Just, when things calm down, just say, hey, let's watch the one video a day on the app. Just one a day. Let's just do it for a month and see what happens. Okay?
I can't even get her to watch my videos that I make.
I know, but your video, that's all right. She doesn't want just tell her she'll watch someone else's videos.
Oh yeah.
You know what? One video, make it worth her time. Like take her on a date. Whatever you got to do. One video a day.
I'll just say, this guy that I was talking to, he was on Alex Jones. He was on, this guy's credible as heck, man. He's an authority as far as I can tell.
All right. Let me talk to her. Bring her on. Go get her. Go take the baby from her and send her in right now.
Gosh, are you serious? She's already mad at me about this interview because I kind of abruptly, I'm like, I got to be on time.
All right. Listen, I'm going to let you get back. Thanks for having me on. And we'll chat again soon.
Let's do it. Hey, I appreciate you stopping in. And hey, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you coming in as well. And thanks, Dave. I appreciate you. And dude, I'll keep following you. We'll chat again.
All right, man. Thanks. See ya.
Later. Okay, bye.